Hi, everybody. We're back with another episode of Lemons to Lemonade. And today, our guest is a co founder and president at 100% virtual company supporting businesses all across North America. He has started, scaled, and exited a number of businesses. And he was the mascot for a CFL team in the late 80s. Please welcome Nick Thompson from
Hi,
Vaya
thanks for
Office
having me.
Professionals.
Thanks for having me.
So you were recently interviewed by Global News, and you're teaching entrepreneurs and business owners how to create this virtual environment that everybody's struggling to adapt to. Can you share a few of those tips with our listeners today?
Would love to. So while we're communicating not person to person, some of the communication has to change. So increase the frequency of our communications from the company to the employee, especially in this time of crisis, and everybody wants to know what's going on. So it's really important to we see companies doing morning daily huddles for 15 minutes on video to say, hey, what's the state of the union? How's everybody faring? Is everybody okay? Are you on lockdown? How's your family? And just enable to connect better with everyone. The book that I referenced in the press release is called Installing Change by Robert H. Kent. And he cites in that book that the three most important most important principles for every change is number one, communication, number two, communication, and then you can guess number three, communication. So it's very important to communicate as much as possible. The second is using online platforms. So there's many online platforms that we can use. We're using Zoom here today, but there's Slack communication, Teams, WhatsApp, Same Page. There's a whole slew of communication tools. So making sure that we utilize those. A lot of them are free. Some are very minimal charges, but utilize as many as possible. That helps people connect on multiple media. Another one is more follow-up is required. So when you're having communications and meetings, we don't get those what we call flybys. So in the office environment, when you're walking down the hallway and two people are saying, hey, can you call me about that? Or, oh, hey, I had an idea for you. We don't have that when we're working from home. So we need to make sure that we follow up with each other regularly on tasks, ideas, just basically putting everything down in email format or on one of those channels of communication, so that we can get as much of the collective intelligence together as possible on an ongoing basis. And then measuring everything. So when we're communicating, make sure that we have notes and we take notes on everything. Because we're having all these video calls, and I think a lot of people are forgetting that we need to take minutes, not as if we're sitting in a boardroom or sitting across from a client or a coworker. We need to take those minutes down and email them to each other, because otherwise, we forget what's being said.
Yeah, and especially now with everybody being so stressed, trying to do so much all at once, we're forgetting things.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. It's a different environment, so we're trying to get used to it. We're not so comfortable anymore, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, and Nick, I wanted to ask you, you are also really well known as an amazing business strategist. So taking off your your virtual work hat and putting on your business strategy hat, what can you tell entrepreneurs? Yeah, there you go. That one.
Yeah.
What can you tell entrepreneurs, or are there any lessons from your past experience that you can share with us about what we can be doing in this situation? We're all in a crisis situation, and I think that's the point of what these episodes are about, is like, how do we get our community knowledge out and help each other make it through in a big way?
There's several things. Number one, as a company, get together with your executive team, your management team immediately. Start planning out for different scenarios. We don't know what's going to happen next week. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So it's really important to, and the term I heard was like create a war room. I might want to call it something different than war, but
room, the lemonade.
yeah, exactly. A strategy room where you say, okay, how is this going to, and we recommend looking at through two lenses. One is, what are the defensive strategies we need to create in order to defend ourselves against this situation? So looking at our top line, how is that affecting our top line? Are there things that we need to do there? Looking at our bottom line, are there things that we need to adjust? Looking at how, like setting up virtual offices, how we can accommodate keeping as many people employed as possible through this. Looking at those defensive strategies, and then look at it through a lens of an offensive strategy. How can we make the best use of those top line sales? Are there other avenues that we should be using with our expertise to create other avenues of income? Offensive strategy being, what does it look like to change the environment of how we're working, in terms of the supply chain and how that all tallies through to delivery of service and goods to the client. So there's sort of two lenses we're recommending to look through, but the very worst thing you could do is wait and see. We have to be, right? So we have to be proactive. And so we're working with companies with my other hat on, we're working with companies to create plans, to look at contingency plans, sharing that information. There's so much information that's going on, and a lot of it is poking fun, and that's good to have the levity for sure. But there's some really good resources that are being put out. And when you're looking at the government websites, after you hear one of the news releases that they put out on different subsidy plans, just sharing that with each other is really important so that we can take advantage of all the resources available to us. I mean, we're in North America, and lucky for us, we have a lot of resources.
Yes, so we're very lucky.
So let's share those.
Yes, and I think from my point of view, from the marketing point of view, I've been recommending as an offensive strategy to get ready, because this is going to end eventually. So once we finish the panic of our defense strategy, we need to start thinking about, okay, when this ramps back up, what are you going to do? What messages are you going to put out? What marketing are you going to, how are you going to get back on top of everything? And it's going to be different. We can't just press pause and play what we had before. It's totally different messaging that we're going to have to come up with in the new world.
Absolutely, Daphne. We look at this as a 9/11 event. That we have to first of all get through it together and unite, and then secondly rebuild, and then thirdly, what's going to be different from now on, right? We really think that as you said, marketing messages are probably going to change moving forward. The way people work, there might be a lot more virtual meetings like this that happen into the future, because they said, hey, that actually worked really well. We don't necessarily need to fly people to different places. So it's going to affect a lot, I think.
Yeah, I think our business world is definitely changing because the whole world was impacted. So it's not just a small, percentage of people. It's like we've all been impacted. It's going to be different.
Absolutely, 100%.
Thank you. Thanks for being on my show, Nick.
My pleasure. Thanks for letting me share, and hopefully all of us working together in a medium like what you've put here to help share all of these best practices is fantastic. And again, that's just, it makes my heart swell that humanity's stepping up to the challenge together. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you. And then just before we go, I want to do a little plug for Veya, because they help me with my inbox. They help me with my scheduling, and I wouldn't be able to be where I am and doing all of this if I was worried about all the appointments. My inbox is at 0, and it provides so much stress relief. So thank you, Nick and Lana, for providing me with an amazing assistant who gets me where I need to go and keeps me on task. So love it. Thank you.
So awesome. Thank you.